I'm a Tonechaser. That thing you hear in your head that you just can't quite get.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Everybody good? I think you all dug that first read-through I did, and I'm really happy about that. At the prodding of my good friend Adam Roach, who helps put all these videos together and edits and cleans up audio and, inserts photos and everything, he suggested a second run-through with the read-through, and I agreed. He thought chapter 15, Like Father, Like Son, would be a good chapter to tackle, and I agreed. So this one is this is a rare one. This is a sort of a conversation after a conversation. I'd been up at 5150, as you know, hanging out with Ed, and we jammed, and I was wasted. I was drunk. We were both drunk, and Edward wanted to talk. I'd been up there, pretty much the whole day, but he still wanted to talk and had some things he wanted to let me know about. And I was so happy he did. And yeah, so let me dive in here. And as the memories come back to me, and if I have some comments to make, I will fill in the holes. So here we go, everybody. Like Father, Like Son, chapter 15 from Tonechaser. Okay, hang on. Following our jam, I figured Edward wanted to be alone. I'd been up at 5150 for a while and started gathering my gear. As I was unplugging the mic from the cassette player and stowing away my stuff, I had a sense he didn't want me to leave. I was still drunk, and though I could drive, I would have preferred not to. He wanted to talk. I inserted another tape and plugged the mic back in. I waited. So I really had a sense that Edward had something else on his mind. And, this could almost have been a Twilight tape moment. I think back on this, and it was incredibly personal. And I know that Edward was hurting. I'm just touched. I don't even know how to find the words that he would share these feelings with me. But he did. So let me continue here. To repeat, I waited. And Edward tells me, I would love for you to put this in print, were the first words he said to me.
I'd love for you to put this in print.
So here is Edward sort of reversing course, right? Steve, don't print this. No good. You can't use that. He wanted this in print. He knew how important this was. He wanted his feelings made known, not just to me, but basically to the rest of the world, as it were. So continuing, I had no idea what was coming though. I was pretty sure what he was going to say had nothing to do with what we'd just been talking about. My first words were,
I'm fucked up. You know that, okay? That's cool, so am I.
and for me to say that, I must have been pretty drunk. Not proud of it, but it was a fact, I mean, Ed maybe had some vodka, and I'd been sipping out of it. And like I said, man, I wasn't a drinker, and I got drunk pretty easily. And, alcohol could trigger migraines, but it was just part of that day, jamming and drinking. I mean, it was just pretty unbelievable. By saying that out loud, I suppose I was seeking some reassurance from Edward that it was okay. And if I said anything stupid, that was a reason why. Edward sensed that and told me, that's cool, so am I. So he was giving me the okay, I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of him. Edward never had those governors on himself, He'd be fucked up or he'd be wasted, and he would just say what was on his mind, With me, I mean, I tried to, but oh, and here we go. I'm sorry, guys. That's overdub. As you know, Arpeggio's gone. He left this earth a couple of months ago, so that's the new guy, overdub. So anyway, Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't say anything stupid. More pointedly, insult him in some way by saying something stupid. Not that I would have consciously have done that, but if he's pouring his heart out and I make some, inopportune remark, I just couldn't have I couldn't bear that. So here we go. Following my confession and Ed's absolution, him telling me that it was okay, right? These are the next words on the tape.
My father was a person who I almost loved to please.
I could hear in his voice that he had become very subdued and spoke in very somber tones.
And I would love for you to put him back.
I told him,
"Why don't you think you're dead?"
and he was quick to dismiss my comment.
No, I'm talking about as talented as he was, he never got the recognition. And I think Al and I are him now. And through us, he's getting what I feel he deserved. Because he fucking blew his ass off. And he never got anywhere. So it's like my main inspiration is my father. Because he was so good. He never got anywhere.
I remembered Edward was near tears. I could feel his heart breaking and knew with all certainty if he could have somehow magically traded places with his dad and given him all the acclaim and adulation he'd received, there would not have been even a heartbeat's hesitation in doing so. I picked up the thread. That was pretty unbelievable for Edward to say that. I mean, his dad was everything to him, and obviously he loved his mother. Later on, we'll hear some comments that I wrote in the book, things he'd said about his mother. They were pretty harsh, but I was supposed to balance that. His dad was everything. His dad was a musician. On the other side of that, his dad, maybe also introduced Edward to some of those vices early on, maybe smoking and drinking. I don't know. I know that Ed had been smoking and drinking from an early age. So from here on, we hear the conversation that we had. And for anybody following, this is going to take us to just about the bottom of page 187. So Edward's last comment, I think he might have made a little over $200 a week till the day he fucking retired. Edward was really open that day. And yeah, so what follows were a couple comments, and I don't want to put that audio up here. It's just not apropos. So yeah, so I hope you dig that, and you can appreciate how personal this chapter was, and honestly, for me to go back there, it brought up so many memories of how vulnerable he could be, and how human he was, just like the rest of us. So okay, so I hope you're digging this, and hang on for part 2. Okay, everybody, see ya.